Hey YouTube, this is the Mike from Mike Jones Knife and Tool, and I know it's been an extra long time, even by my standards, but I thought I would show you what I've been up to instead of making knives lately. I got a job with a timber frame company, and so I've been working in their shop, manufacturing all kinds of timbers to build a few different projects so far. It's been a couple of weeks and it's been awesome. So everyone's gone right now. I thought I'd give you a quick tour of what a timber frame shop looks like. Well, this is the shop space. It was an existing shop when they moved in, and they wanted they're going to build a bigger one. I'd say it's about 70 long by about 30 wide or so, and with 3 guys working in here, it pretty much fills up. Thing with timber framing is obviously you use huge material, and so it takes up a lot of space, and you do a lot of the same things over and over again, so you got to have a whole bunch of them laid out in one spot to do them. But that's the shop space. So right beside the workspace and all the tools here, we got this laptop with this program called SketchUp on it, and here we've got the drawing of one of the projects that we're working on, and so it's really handy to be able to come in on the computer and zoom in on a piece and find dimensions or anything from it that we need, any kind of angles or dimensions or lengths or whatever that might have been missed on the drawings. It's really handy to be able to come in here and just pick it right out of this 3-dimensional drawing. Alright, tools. These are the fun guys. So this is a company called Mafel. They're from somewhere in Europe, and they make awesome timber frame tools, and this is kind of their color concept. You'll see a lot of these, just like the blue is always the Makita, yellow is DeWalt, that kind of thing. So this guy is a chain mortiser. It makes my job way easier. You just plunge cut this big fat chain, and it's 1.5 inches wide, and it makes 1.5 inch mortises in a hurry. That's a 10-inch circular saw. This is the 16-inch circular saw. When you're working with big material, these are just a 6x6, but there's some big beams over there, and you got to cut them down, and on precise angles you need a big tool. That's a regular circular saw. A drill with a guide to make sure that you're drilling straight through your beams perfectly straight. A little grinder with a flap disc on it. Router, those guys get used a lot in here, as well as belt sanders. Chamfer planer, he's handy. Palm sander goes in there. It's out somewhere right now. Down there are just some things that hardly ever get used. Groover and another planer and another grinder and whatnot. Little electric chainsaw comes in very handy. And this is a beam saw. So what it is basically a chainsaw on a bevel, and it cuts through, I don't know, 20 inches or something, and at angles. So that's really handy. This is one of the carpenter's tools, and this is another bank of all the same stuff. So we've got 2 of everything already, which is great. Festool palm sander with the vac keeps some dust out of the air. CNC, or the mill with a square hole bit in it right now, is pretty cool. This is a great big planer. I don't know, I think it cuts 12 inches or something. It'll plane down, but it's huge and it's a real pain to use. But when you need to get things flat, it does the trick. This guy's awesome too. This is another beam saw with the electric, and it bevels and tilts and cuts square, and same as the other one, but just a little bit different. This is a great big scroll saw, or a bandsaw, sorry, big bandsaw. It's for cutting, if you have to cut like a radius or something in a brace, which is pretty common. Have to do a lot of that sort of stuff. There's my box of tools. Little wall of clamps, chop saw. Up here we got compressed air, it comes from there and over there. There's a little table of tools. Cool thing about being in a timber frame shop is you can just drop everything at the end of the day and walk away, and it's there again when you need it the next day. Over here we got jointer, thickness planer, and they've got dust collection, and also for the great big table saw back here, router table that we hardly ever use, and that guy. There's some squares and things like that, and over behind me here are the big clamps. A couple of huge 10-footers, some 6-footers, some 8-footers behind there. And you need to clamp things up. That's how she goes. So this is just one of the areas where work gets done. This is where most of the production of the timber framing and the joinery and things like that goes on. There's also a smaller, like a mechanic shop for servicing tools and whatnot. There's a couple of huge lean-tos outside where we store material and finished goods. There's the stain shop next door where all the sanding and staining goes on. There's a big outdoor area to do lots of planing or whatever, especially in the summertime when the weather's nice, just so you can have more going on when this shop is pretty full. And then there's the mill. These guys mill all their own lumber. It's a little ways away, but it's just one other step in the process that goes on in here. I'll show you some of the things that I've been working on. So a lot of what I've been doing has been packed up already and just getting shipped out to the location where we're going to be building a house next week or the week after. But here's a big stack of braces I've been doing, all tenoned, and a lot of our stuff has housing, like a 1/2-inch housing on it. That's where the routers come in real handy. We'll take this guy over. This is a 4x6, full dimension 4x6. Here's a pile of posts that I've been working on as well. This stuff's all done. So these are the housings, and it just gives the whole brace a little spot to house into, a little more to bear onto, and it also hides the ends of them, so you get a nice clean finish. And I haven't tried any of these yet. Let's see if this one fits. Standard mortise and tenon joint, nice and tight. Oh, I can't do it with one hand, but anyways, that's the idea. Tucks in there. Up here and to there, that's where the beam will go. This is obviously lying on its side right now, and that'll brace the beam. And then 1-inch oak dowel will pound through there, and that's the idea with that. Let's see if this one fits any better. Nope, they're all pretty tight, which is good. You want them to, you wouldn't want to just fall in there. You want to be able to tap it in so you get a nice tight fit. Here's outside. There's a pair of loaders for moving big bundles around and lots of big timbers and that. They run almost all day long. This is kind of neat. On the outside of the shop, they've got all these storage units where we can keep all kinds of tools or materials or hardware or whatever. Here's a great big trailer. Outdoor stuff. This is the yard. Here's where a lot of work can happen outside, or at least it's dry. This time of year it's getting kind of chilly, but there's a framing table in there where we can prefabricate walls to fill in inside of timber framing, just like this guy's timber framed, and so these filler walls can get done prefab there and then shipped on site, and they go together really quick and easy. A lot of planing and whatever can go on out here where it makes a huge mess. Here's a big truck that we can ship packages with. Lean-to back there for storage. Big timber shed over here for more storage. That's the house that we've been working on that we're going to go and set up next week. That's right there is what a timber frame house looks like, all packed up and ready to go. Foundation junk and whatever, lots of storage back here, and that's the pond, which is nice. So that's what I've been up to for the last 2.5 weeks or so. That's why I haven't been making videos or knives lately, but you got to pay the bills, and it's really cool that I'm learning how to do this stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's timber framing, and also on the weekends I'm building my buddy a cabin.